record. Alright, this is Mr. Huff, and I want to talk to you a little bit about parametric design. This is where you design a part and you want to base it on a nominal dimension. In this case, 1 inch is our nominal dimension, and then you want all of the other pieces to be in relationship to that nominal dimension. So you can see I'm going to have D0 is 1/2 of D, D1 is going to be 1/4 of D, D2 is going to be 1/2 of D, and D3 and D4 are set numbers at 3/16, and then we have an angle down here. So what that means is as we go over to our drawing, we can see how all of these relate to the nominal dimension, and this is the pair cam that we did previously. So what I'm going to do is start a new part, and we're going to use the standard template, and we are going to make a new part that is a pair cam, and it's driven by a parameter. So I'm going to adjust the size of this so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, now I'm going to name my part. So remember to use uppercase letters when you're naming things, and since I have so many pair cams in here, I'm going to put a number on that. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is start a sketch. Notice how I move away from the origin to do this, and I'm going to kind of lay out my pieces for the pair cam. I have a circle at the top, a circle at the bottom, notice how I am using a vertical constraint to line up the centers of my circles. Notice how I am not using any dimensions at this point. Going to put a couple of lines here. And now we're going to use tangent constraints to attach the circles and the lines. And I should have clicked on the circle first. So I'm applying 4 tangent constraints to make the pair cam shape. Now we're going to use the trim tool to get rid of everything that is sticking out and the circles that are on the inside of our shape. And again, notice that I did not use any dimensions. Now we're going to use this function button up here. This is a parameters selection, so it's next to the color choice. Click on that, and it's going to open up this window, which is too big to see, so let me resize this. Okay, now we can see the window. We're going to choose user parameters, and we're going to add a numeric parameter. I'm going to name it D, and it's going to be 1 inch. We're going to add another one. It's going to be called D0, and according to what I wrote down previously, it's 1/2 of D. So you need to have a list of how these are related and what sizes they are. So I'm going to use the decimal 0.5 times D. Then I'm going to add D1. These can be other names too, it's just convenient to use D. And this is going to be 1/4 of D. So 1/4 times D, and I do this wrong, it should be a decimal. We should be using 0.25. I don't think that's going to do what I want. And then I recognize that I'm typing this in wrong. So this will be 0.25D. And then this will be 1/2 of D, according to my list. The next two are specific values. So I'm going to have D3, which is the size of the hole in the middle of the cam, and it's 3/16 of an inch. And the next one is D4, and that is going to be also a length measurement 3/16 of an inch. D5 is an angle, so we need to change it to degrees, so we're going to choose angularity and pick degrees on unit type and click OK. I believe you can just type in DEG and it will know what you mean. We're going to use 0 degrees. Let me stop right here. One of the things I want to point out is you want to specify Even though these are the same measurement, they mean two different things. You want to make sure you have two different things specified here. Alright, we're going to go back to our drawing now, and we're going to apply these dimensions. So I'm going to add a dimension to this outer portion, and instead of the random number that popped up, I'm going to put in D0. And that is going to set that. So I need to move this where you can see it a little better now. Then the next thing I'm going to do is add a dimension to the top circle, and that's going to be D1. I'm putting in the D1, and it's calling from that table the value from a formula. See the little FX tag on these dimensions? That means it is a formula parameter. The distance between the center of the two circles is going to be D2. I don't know why it took me so long to think about that, but there it is. And then I forgot to add my little circle in the middle here, so I'm just going to put a random circle. Then we're going to go to dimension, and I'm going to put D3, which is 3/16 of an inch. Then I'm going to finish this sketch and extrude it. And I want it to extrude the distance D4. The reason you want to use two different values, D3 and D4, is this way you can change the hole without changing the thickness, and you can change the thickness without changing the hole. Notice how I went to the second tab on this, and it has a taper value, and we set this at 0 degrees. I put in D5 instead of 0 degrees. One of the things you need to do as well is choose a different material. Gold is fun, so let's use gold. And now it's going to tell us some things. What we can do is we can choose File and go to Eye Properties. Open that window up. Let me move it over so you can see it. Then you can choose Physical and click Update Part, and it will tell you the mass, and it will tell you the volume of this part. Okay. The cool thing about using parametric design is you can open those parameters back up, and you can go in and change your nominal dimension, that first one we set, D, and then I can click Done, and now I have a resized cam, and it didn't change that much. Let's do a bigger change, so let's do 3, and yeah, 3 inches. Done. There it is. So you can see that it resized the whole thing. And now if we go look over at our eye properties and go to physical, we can see, click update, and we can see now that weighs a pound, and it has a 1.57 cubic inch volume. So this lets you design a part, set the relationship between the measurements, and then you can change it to any size that you want by changing one nominal value. This is going to be helpful whenever you're designing cams for the automata, and you'll have to do this for all of the cams that you plan to use. And here again, I need to show you one more thing. So I'm going to make it 1/2 inch. So now it's rescaled to 1/2 inch. What I want to do is show you what the taper does, because I don't think we've talked about that. So look at this part. You can go in here and change the angle. I'm going to change it to 15 degrees. And click on Done, and you can see that now instead of being straight on the sides, it's tapered out. So we have an angle as it extrudes. It either slopes in from the edges or out from the hole in the middle. And then we can change that to different values, and you can see that now it's sloped but not as much. Most of the time though, for a cam, you're going to leave that at 0 degrees. So I don't even know if that's useful to put in there, but 0 is what we want here. And we are done with that.